Cameras up, everyone. Towelliee here. Battle for Azeroth Alpha Dungeons. Today we're going to be going over the Atal'Dazar dungeon, which is the Horde side dungeon. We covered Freehold earlier this week. Now this dungeon will give you that lovely little, you know, as we say, trolls raid, trolls dungeon kind of vibe that people somehow don't like, but I love. I love troll dungeons. I love troll environments. Fairly small dungeon, just has different wings and a little basement with a certain dinosaur that you will see later on during the quest lines on the Horde side in Battle for Azeroth in that first leveling area named Nazmir, I believe. I am tanking on Twitch Towel. Towelliee was taken as a name on the alpha because within the first 5 seconds, some douche nugget fucking took it. Yeah, I'm salty. So, taking on the almighty People's Paladin, and I'll be doing commentary over the video here. This was already pre-recorded, so if you see some subs and resubs and stuff happening, that's just, you know, the stream, but I'm currently right now doing the video commentary for YouTube on it. Prot Paladins, nothing much has really changed besides the fact that Shield of the Righteous now increases your armor by a metric fuck ton, and it also hits all targets in front of it, which is awesome. So it hits like everything. So once you hit Shield of the Righteous, it's also an on-use ability. So if you have like 10 mobs in front of you, you hit Shield of the Righteous, it hits all those mobs. If you're, you know, trying to run away from an ability and hit Shield of the Righteous, it'll still protect you with the extra armor. Now here is Resin. Resin, once a Loa of the Atal'Dazar Kings, has had his soul torn from his body during a ritual, and now only twisted husks remain, bent on devouring anyone who enters his hunting grounds. Now, he has a few abilities. He has one called Terrifying Visage, which you just have to LOS. He's casting it right there. And that's why I tank him right there in between those two pillars. That way, it's easier for the range to go to the pillar in the back, and the melee can just use the pillar in the front. He'll also do a Pursuit ability when he'll pursue you, and then he'll just eat you. So if he catches up to you, he'll put you in his mouth and start chomping down on you. Now, on the ground, there's a bunch of bones everywhere. These bones are basically just, you know, they're called ancient dry bones. So you have to try to avoid them. As you can see, we popped a shit ton of them. And they're just pretty much dead little raptors that if you step on them, they come to life. So you make sure you want to not step on any of those. I'm assuming that during the a high mythic plus fortified dungeon, or excuse me, a tyrannical dungeon, they will probably wipe you if you pull too many. There's that Terrifying Visage again. And then Serrated Teeth is an ability that gets put on the tanks, and for that, all you have to do is just you know, use your damage reducing abilities once you get affected by Serrated Teeth. And that's basically for tanks and for healers and DPS, you know, LOS from the Fear. And you can actually use Tremor Totem, as we discussed, that is now back with Shamans in the Shaman Arsenal. So if you have a Shaman in your group, tell them to put down that Tremor Totem for the Terrifying Visage. Or you can, you know, Berserk as a Prot Warrior too as well. You can Bubble as a tank with the talent so you don't lose aggro at all. Lots of different things you can do to avoid getting feared, but I think LOSing is just a safe bet. Pretty easy boss here. Once you know where to position him, where to put him, and how to, like, you know, use your, I guess you would say, utility abilities in your group for the pursuit. You know, you could bop the person who gets pursued, you could Bubble, you can Ice Block and all that there. And now, but yeah, that's like the basement area of Atal'Dazar. I guess people were asking me to show them what my character looks like. He's a dwarf, obviously. So now we're going to get into the meaty part of the dungeon here. Now this first little trash pack here is with these little, what are these called? What are they called? Sky Screamers? Yeah, Sky Screamers. Interrupt them. They cast a fear. Terrifying Screech, I believe it's called. Make sure you always interrupt that. It becomes annoying. It can knock you into a bunch of other trash packs, and you don't want that. And now you're going to face what looks to be like a little mini boss here in this first little, the middle, I guess you would say, of all the wings. She might be like certain. It kind of reminds me of Vault of the Wardens when you clear that first trash pack and you go to the middle, and that Demon Hunter drops down and just, like, you know, destroys your entire fucking raid's face in. Yeah, but that's what these are. So a lot of damage going out here. Make sure you pop your cooldowns as a tank. Keep up your Shield of the Righteous as much as possible. But you can see every time I start using Shield of the Righteous, it actually, you know, hits all the targets in front of you. And I think it's a really good change. And if you think about it, for Prot Paladins, now every ability that we use as a Prot Paladin is AoE besides Judgment. All they need now is just to make Judgment hit one extra enemy, and then every ability we have is an AoE ability. You know, you have your Avenger Shield, AoE, Blessed Hammer, AoE, Shield of the Righteous is now AoE, Consecrate, AoE, and it's like everything's fucking AoE, so that's good. I like it. You know, it's good for Mythic Plus dungeons in general, any raid boss that has ads attached to them. So we got rid of that trash there pretty quick. So yeah, compared to Freehold, this dungeon has less trash packs, and the bosses are just easier to get to. But I think Freehold is a little bit more fun because, like I said, it had that pirate theme to it, which I'm really fond of. So once again, those are those Sky Screamers. You're gonna get 2 packs here. Make sure you interrupt that fear. But yeah, man, Shield of the Righteous being on use is actually really cool because I remember during certain bosses, let's say Kill Jaden was one of them. You know, there was times where you had to like go out and soak one of the big Armageddons, and you know, you could either bubble or you could pop a personal or whatever, or bop yourself to soak it. But it would have been just easier to like, I would try to time my Shield of the Righteous to like 4 stacks or 3 stacks of Shield of the Righteous so I could just run out and soak. Now, you know, if this was, you know, if we were using the BFA Shield of the Righteous during Armageddon in KJ fight, I would just step on top of the Armageddon and hit Shield of the Righteous, and it's an on-use ability now, as well as, you know, up-front defensive. So I kind of like it. Let's see, this trash pack, believe there's like little witch doctors that cast some venomous spell. You want to make sure you interrupt that. Venomous Blast, yeah, you can interrupt that. It probably hurts more on a higher level Mythic Plus once you do it. Once again, this is all subject to change. These dungeons are done on normal mode. I'm level 113. And this dungeon we're actually scaled down to just level 110 by Blizzard and item level 162. So it's not that crazy at the moment. So we'll see once we hit max level in the alpha or beta 120. We'll see how well we do in these dungeons with our higher item level and increased health. I think right now I only have, what do I have there? About like 20-something thousand health. Barely anything. Barely anything. Alright, so what boss are we heading to here? I believe this is the, this might be Volkal. And if I'm correct, and this is Volkal, then I'll read what it says here. In life, Volkal was a trusted bodyguard of Yasma. Since his untimely death, she has used her newfound powers to reanimate the corpse of her former lieutenant, who can now serve for eternity. So when this fight starts, you basically want to get rid of all of these totems before anything begins. So the fight doesn't begin until you actually get rid of the totems. I think he's immune. So you have to avoid a few things here. You got to avoid Toxic Leap. You can see that there you go. He Toxic Leap. He'll put a little, you know, toxic swirl under your feet. Get out of the way. Good to go. Interrupt Noxic Stench, which I'm not sure if I saw that cast at all. Oh, there it is. That needs to be interrupted. And I mean, Prot Paladin, man, sometimes you interrupt abilities that you don't even know can be interrupted, but that's pretty much it. So he's empowered by bad voodoo until all the reanimation totems are destroyed. Once all the totems are destroyed, Volkal begins to rapid decay. And that's what this is right here, the rapid decay. So you don't want to stand in these toxic pools. So basically, you want to try and have everyone grouped up in a corner, and then you just start cutting them slowly. Kind of reminds you of a Curator in Karazhan, where you kind of just want to stick together, and especially on the high mythic tyrannical key, and just kind of move down the hallway and then up the other side of the hallway. So I'm kind of trying to keep that same theme here. I kind of want to do like a big initial triangle, then a smaller triangle, then you get them to the middle. But if, you know, you see the Boomkin and everybody else standing out at range, it doesn't really help you that much. But we were not really gonna min-max strategy for a normal mode, you know, 110 dungeon. But he hits pretty hard though. His melee swings are pretty gnarly. I'm old, whatever. And after that, that's pretty much it for Volkal. Very easy boss, very easy mechanics. I'm assuming you probably just want the tank to tank the boss on top of the totems, and so you can DPS the totems yourself. You might want to have range DPSing another totem. They didn't have that much health. Maybe on, you know, Mythic Plus dungeons, they have like way more health. And we'll be covering a lot on the once Mythic Plus is available and they give us those default keys that we can use in the alpha or beta. I'll go ahead and I'll do a lot more on Mythic Pluses with shortcuts and stuff like that in the future videos. So now we're heading over to Priestess Alunza. So this fight's really cool. I never even got the how do we say, what the transfusion in this fight actually does. So as we're going over there, we're going to be clearing some more of these Sky Screamers and this annoying ass trash coming up next. I hate it so much. It's so great to have a Death Knight in this dungeon. So Priestess Alunza, as a fanatical defender of Atal'Dazar's golden sanctum, Priestess Alunza has come to cleanse the temple of all corruption at any cost. So her overview is pools of tainted blood will appear at random locations around the cauldrons. Now this tainted blood is the victim's blood is tainted, inflicting damage, inflicting 900 shadow damage every 3 seconds. Step into the pool to taint your blood just before she casts transfusion. Now when she casts transfusion is a very important ability here. So I'm going to read it off. We're off the website here. Priestess Alunza channels a ritual of purification for 5 seconds, inflicting shadow damage to all players and healing herself for 100% of her health every 1 second for 5 seconds. Any player with tainted blood will cause Priestess Alunza to lose 0.25% of her maximum health instead of healing. So basically, our tainted blood is being spilled all over the ground. We're going to pick up that tainted blood. She's going to cast transfusion. She's going to try to, and then she'll end up sucking in the bad blood, which is going to hurt her, which is good because you don't want her to heal. Now, fuck this place right here. Yeah, these things, man, they have a huge range on them, so you got to watch out. I think I died a few times trying to get through here. So we already had one death there. Someone's always going to die here. Like, I don't know, man. That's going to be the cause of a lot of extra 5 seconds on your timers. Now, for tanks, save damage reducing abilities for Gilded Claws. It's a cast time. The caster coats their hands in molten gold, making their melee swings deal 150% physical damage for 12 seconds. So if you can get 12 seconds of Shield of the Righteous uptime on it, go for it. If not, you can do maybe 1 or 2 Shield of the Righteous, and then maybe pop like an Ardent Defender or something like that. I guess it doesn't really hit hard on normal. This is a really big trash pack here. A lot of interrupts to do. A lot of stuff going out here. I just, you know, I take it. You know, because I'm a tank. I'm the People's Paladin, baby. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, man. But this dungeon was... I like the look of it. It's just kind of short. I'm kind of tired of the whole, you know, going different wings kind of thing, ordeal. You know, you go to... There's a middle point, then you go left, then you go up, and then you go right. You know, it kind of reminds me of just like when you're doing, like, Ice Crown Citadel. I don't know why. I don't like those kind of dungeons a lot, but I mean, fuck it. You know, the troll scenery is also very appealing, and you know, the fact that Freehold is just pirate-esque, pirate savvy, just I'm biased toward that, so it kind of blows for me out. I would definitely hold this dungeon as one of the more pretty looking dungeons. Hopefully they add more stuff to it though. So here we go, Priestess Alunza. Now she might be bugged in this version. Is she bugged? Yeah, she was bugged. So right now there's a bug on here. Fuck. Where she just disappears if you pull her and you're not in range. So it's kind of like any other evaded NPC in the game. You just want to stand on top of them and tank there. So you might not see a really good representation of how we do transfusion. Because if you have melee, then melee have to like run out, soak the transfusion, and then, you know, have the boss soak in your tainted blood. But so far, the alpha has been great. I'm trying my best to like run dungeons on different DPS. I mean, I've even been healing. Yeah, I healed. I fucking healed. Blowing your mind right now. Yeah, I healed as a Resto Druid and a Holy Paladin. So I picked the 2 easiest healers to heal on. Later on this week, I'll be trying Mistweaver Monk and Resto Shaman. I'm going to leave Priest for last because I'm just really bad at Disc and Holy. Holy just has too much shit, like Power Word this, Power Word that. All right, so here's the fight. So you can see the pools on the ground. You can see one in the upper right-hand corner. You usually, like that Boomkin, I think he already did it. You just stand in the pool, and then after she casts transfusion, she'll suck it out of you. And then on the ground, you see all these small little, what's it called? I believe it's called corrupted gold. Is that what this is? Corrupted gold? No, I think that's if you stand in a corrupted gold. Well, there's these little gold circles on the ground. Just don't stand on them. You don't want to, you know, be near those. They hurt pretty bad. They'll always be all around the room, moving fairly slowly. If I had to make a change, I would make them move a little faster, you know, get that range DPS sweating a bit. But definitely, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments of this dungeon. If you're looking at it from this standpoint, all right, do you guys have any opinions on how this is going to play out in Mythic Plus dungeons? It seems like this is going to be one of the like Mauve Soul style timers, like very short, like, you know, 21 minutes for a +3 kind of dungeon, maybe even less. I think we did like a small little speed run of this, and we were able to finish this like in 10 minutes, like with really good DPS, really fast. And it was like, wow. I mean, for Mythic Plus, hopefully they can, you know, they're probably gonna make you cut it short here. or cut it close, excuse me. She does have a lot of health, though. If I had any feedback for this boss, I would say with the abilities she's doing, minimize the health. And I'm assuming the only reason she has a lot of health is to make up for the tainted blood that you're giving her that makes her lose more of her health. But even with that in mind, it still seems like she's a little up there in the ooh, excuse me, man, I'm burpy today, in the HP world. So there you go. There's Priestess Alunza. And now we're going to head to Yasma. Yasma is the last boss of this dungeon. Having consumed the Might of Shadra, the Spider Loa. So, Spider Loa consumed by Yasma. Yasma is now tasked with holding the sacred temple of Atal'Dazar for her master, the Prophet Zul. So we got past the fiery stairway of death. Good. So this fight, a few things here. Very chaotic. I believe in the future it'll get very chaotic once the Mythic Plus versions come out with all the affixes. But the overview is, upon reaching 100 energy, Yasma calls forth the souls of players afflicted with Soul Rend, creating a soul spawn that moves toward her. She also spawns Echoes of Shadra, which is the Spider Loa, summons forth several Shadow Spider images. Touching an Echo of Shadra causes it to burst into shadow damage to players within 5 yards, and creating a pool of shadowy remains is formed at the location. So you'll first see like all these small little purple, like what you just saw us get past right there, all these little purple like waves going left, right, up, and down. And once that happens, if you touch it, it's bad. Don't do that. And then there's a skewer for tanks. It's basically a huge 29 to 31,000 physical damage to the current target. And then we also have to interrupt one ability, which I don't believe is even mentioned here. Wrecking Pain. It's a shadow damage, an additional 4,000 shadow damage every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. So you always want to make sure you interrupt Wrecking Pain. Being a Prot Paladin, I should be able to interrupt each one. But here we go. We're gonna pull this up. I always like to tank Yasma right here because it gives everyone else a lot of room. So here you go. Soul Rend is being cast. It'll be on the player. It'll tell you and notify you who it is. So we have a marker for where that player needs to stand. So that player is going to stand there. Is someone still under mount in the back over there, or am I crazy? Whatever. So there's the Soul Rend character. Will try to make its way to. That's tripping me out. I guess you can stay mounted in DPS or something like that. That's weird. Now, I'm totally just like distracted now. But there's Soul Rend again. Because what happens is once a Soul Rend is done, it'll create an echo of your character that'll walk toward the boss. And if it hits the boss, everyone gets hit with this huge dot. And that dot is, you can't dispel it. You can't do anything with it. It will eventually, over time, kill the 5-man raid. But very easy boss. You see all the little spiders that are running around the ground, trying to create the pool, trying to touch them. Wrecking Pain went off. As you can see, it put the dot on the druid right there. The dot hits pretty heavily for a normal mode dungeon. There's another Soul Rend going out. So because we were... there are all the purple things on the ground right there. And there are little spiders on the ground. So once the purple stuff stops, don't touch the spiders. So basically the purple stuff pats all over the room. There's a bunch of them. I think it gets more intense as the fight goes on. And after a while, they just turn to the spiders. And then if you touch the spiders, then it creates the pools. So yeah, what was up with the goddamn fucking DPSing on the Amani Warbear? Is that just a thing? You could just like DPS while mounted? How long have you been playing this game, Towelliee? Not long enough, apparently. But there you go. That is Atal'Dazar dungeon on the Horde side. Once again, when the Battle for Azeroth comes out, I'm not sure if you'll be able to initially do that dungeon as Alliance. But we'll soon find out as we get more deeper into the alpha and the beta. Thank you all for watching this dungeon video. Let me know what you think about the dungeon. Any comments, any feedback. What would you like to see done more to the dungeon? Do you want more graphics added? Should it look even more, you know, trolly? Should it look even more, you know, Loa? Add some more Loa to it. Get Vol'jin Spirit talking to you while you're running around and shit. But as always, I'm on twitch.tv/Towelliee. And you can catch me there streaming the Battle for Azeroth Alpha, all aspects of it, every day. We cover something every day, something new. Every week we get new changes, new builds, always happening. So thank you very much all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. By now you might have seen the Shaman video, so we'll probably be discussing Huntards next, because Huntards are awesome. Fuck Barrage. Yeah, fuck Barrage. I don't like it. I use it. I spec into it. Don't tell nobody.